Considering it was April Fool's Day recently, some of you may be a little nervous about trying out some new mods, and so I'm going to put your mind at rest and show you some great mods that you may want to try. Welcome to episode 19 of the Fallout 4 Mod Vault. If you have not played the Automatron DLC, the next section will be slightly spoilerific. If you want to skip this, I will put an annotation on the screen right now. If you click it, it will take you past this spoiler. But those of you who are still hanging around have probably already guessed to some extent what the next mod is about. I know I was not alone in being more than a little disappointed that you could not create an EyeBot companion with this DLC. It seems the most obvious thing to have included. Yes, there is an EyeBot pod that you can create, but all that does is create a scavenger for you. But with a mod called Automatron EyeBot Companion, you can recreate your favourite buddy from Fallout New Vegas. Meet Eddie.
Hey.
Who even beeps?
Hold up a sec.
It's brilliant. You pretty much create him the same way as you would create any Automatron. Just make yourself a new Automatron and rename him if you want. I'm going to name this one Eddie Mark II. And then go along to Torso and change it from whatever is selected to the EyeBot Core Torso. Now please note, if you change an existing robot to use the EyeBot Core, you can do it, but once you have done it, you cannot reverse the process. So if you change one of your favourite robots, test them out with an EyeBot Core, I'm afraid at the moment the change is permanent and you will get an EyeBot robot. Now as you can see by default, it's a little odd. The head floats between the arms and legs. Not exactly what you're looking for. What you need to do is go along to the legs and change it from Protectron legs to the EyeBot propulsion system. Now you can, believe it or not, select something like Sentry legs. It actually works perfectly. You can have, if you want, Terminator Eddie, which I think is actually ridiculously cool. I mean, honestly, that's kind of terrifying. And you can change the arms to something like the Assaultron arms, the Sentry arms. You can change the weapons, the armor. You can change everything as you would change any other robot. However, if you want the full Sentry bot experience, you're going to need to change the legs to the EyeBot propulsion system. Once you do that, the arms will be removed as well. As you can see now, I have left arm, no left arm, and I can't actually change it. As long as I've got that propulsion system, I won't be able to have any arms, which does make sense, although I thought it'd be kind of cool to have an EyeBot with arms. I think I'd like to see that as an option. You probably want to change the voice to the beep. I like the bleep. I like the bleep bright voice. That I think is it's not quite like Eddie from Fallout New Vegas, but it's pretty close. It's very R2-D2-ish. And don't forget to give him a weapon if you want him to shoot things. EyeBot laser, explosive launcher, 38. There's a variety of weapons that you can install. If you go along to Torso, you will see you have the Torso mod, frame and sensors. If I go along to frame, you actually get a few options with Jura frame, Servomech frame and the Minutemen frame. You have a full set of mods under the miscellaneous Torso mods, including hacking, which seems very appropriate, sensors, and you can check them all out. The usual mods that you get in Automatron. And you can even improve the sensor package for your little robot friend with either a targeting system or an upgraded sensor package. I believe these bonuses apply to the robot itself. I did not actually notice myself getting +1 perception when I checked the stats. But in all other ways, it just acts like one of your normal robot companions. Great idea, really well done, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. Something that really should have been in the game without needing a mod. Are you fed up of sitting in front of the TV waiting for your favourite programme to start, only to realise that's never going to happen? Well, have no fear. With videos of the Wasteland, you now have hours of entertainment at your fingertips.
And quick to anger.
This mod allows you to place a holotape player wherever you want. They do require power, so you're going to have to wire the houses up, which of course is perfectly reasonable. It works with various different TVs, but I did find one of the TVs, the big circular one, did seem to have some issue with the image. And once I actually removed the TV itself, I think I figured out why. It would seem the actual image was being displayed a little too low, as if it was on a different TV. Currently there are 7 holotapes available for this mod, and they are the special videos that you've all seen, and you can find them outside Vault 111 in a wooden crate near to the button that activates the vault elevator. I don't know if the mod author is going to add any other videos, or if it's possible for us to add our own. That would actually be kind of cool. But even with just the 7 special videos that come with the mod, this is great. It really does help bring your settlements to life. Add that sound of life going on.
The greater your strength.
This is a brilliant mod that makes me realise something else I would like to see in this game is a television station. We have radio stations, so why not TV broadcasting?
But why place yourself under undue stress?
The next mod I'm going to show you is called Targeting Sensors for Recon Scopes. And what it does is it replaces the standard Recon Scope functionality with that of the targeting sensors. Now, if you don't know what a Recon Scope is, it is a special sniper scope that you can craft if you have the right perks, that not only gives you night vision, it also allows you to identify enemies, to find them on your compass. There you go. Somewhere down there are 2 enemies. Now, the game actually has targeting sensors for power armor. If you go along to any of the power armor headpieces, you can change it to the targeting heads-up display, and that will actually allow you to detect any living creature. The problem I had with the targeting heads-up display in power armor is it is always on. So I'll show you now as I run around. Anything that is alive or mechanical in nature, so that's robots, people or enemies, are highlighted in red. That is very, very useful indeed. And now you can actually see what it is that I was looking at. It would seem we have a couple of Mirelurks down there. But whilst this is a very useful feature for my power armor, it's also very annoying because it's on permanently. Unless you take the helmet on and off, you're going to have that horrible glow, which I find kind of disturbing. So let's look at the same Recon Scope, this time with targeting sensors for Recon Scope mod installed. I'm going to zoom in, and immediately I find the Mirelurks. They are highlighted in red straight away. You can also see they're added to the compass. They're marked on the compass so I can track them, so I actually get the best of both worlds. It still highlights friendlies as well, but this time it highlights them in green, so I know they're friendly and I know those are hostile even at distance. This is kind of powerful, but it's not that much different to using VATS to do the same thing. It will highlight robots, turrets and people equally. Again, green for friendly, red for hostile, and the effect lasts for a couple of seconds after you zoom in. Now apparently that is a side effect, but I actually quite like it. I like the fact that it lasts a few seconds because it allows me to just quickly zoom in and then get an overview of what I'm looking at. This to me is so much better than the targeting sensors on the power armor. It's no more useful, it's no more powerful, but it is more pleasant because I can turn it off. I can just switch. I can stop zooming or put my weapon away and so on. Whereas with the power armor, I literally have no choice other than to take my power armor helmet off. So I really like this. One small thing of note when you first install the mod, if you are already wielding a weapon with the Recon scope and you zoom in, the effect may not work as intended. All you need to do is switch weapons and then the effect will work perfectly. I really like this idea. It's a great way of getting functionality that was already in the game, but in a way that was kind of annoying, and allowing you to use it in a way that just feels better without feeling overpowered at all. The fact that these sensors are not on all the time is not powerful, it's just pleasant. The next mod is called Craftable Vertibird Signals. Now this is a mod that's been out for quite some time and probably most of you've even heard of it. It is a mod that allows you to create Vertibird signal grenades. It's that simple. It basically means you don't have to keep running back to a certain vendor to buy a handful of these things every few trips. Now again, I do realize most people probably have already heard of this and may think it's a bit pointless me showing you this. This is more of a shout out stroke thank you to the mod author for making this. My first playthrough of Fallout 4, I wanted a vanilla-like experience, and so I didn't use this mod. And I can tell you from experience that the vanilla-like experience in this regard sucks. This mod is an absolute godsend to me. Being able to craft basic smoke grenades to be able to summon a Vertibird is the most obvious thing ever. It is reasonable, it's not overpowered, and all it does is remove a tiny bit of inconvenience, no, a lot of inconvenience for those of us who like to use Vertibird travel instead of fast travel. So this is a belated spotlight for an old mod as a way of saying thank you very much for this. One of the big disappointments with the settlement system in Fallout 4 is the fact that the settlers are so, well, generic and creepy, and a lot of that comes down to the fact that they're all called settler. Every single one of them is called settler, including this kid. I mean, it's a little creepy to say the least. Well, not anymore. Meet Harold, who is a farmer, and Gordon, who is a tailor. When you use a mod called Don't Call Me Settler, any new settlers you get are assigned a name. And whenever you assign a settler to a job, you can actually see his job when you try to talk to him. The mod actually selects the name from the list of names that Codsworth can say, so most of them will seem perfectly reasonable. Now the mod will not rename existing settlers, which is a shame, but apparently that is a little difficult. Who knows, maybe in a future update once the GEC has come out. However, existing settlers will get the title, so you can just look at them no matter what they're doing and see whether or not they're assigned and what they are assigned to. The mod does have one other interesting feature that you'll find under your miscellaneous inventory. It's called the Don't Call Me Settler Setup holotape, and it will give you options to either change the protection status for your settlers so you can make them unkillable, change the ratio of male to female for new settlers, and it gives you a settlement toolbox. Now currently under the toolbox there is only one option, but it's actually a very useful option. It is Call Unassigned Settlers. You can select this, it will send the command, and once it is done, you exit, And there you go. You get some music, and any unassigned settlers will run to you. There you go. My unassigned settler, I can now assign her to things. She will actually follow me around while this music is playing. The only downside to that feature would seem to be the fact that you have to wait for the music to stop all by itself. You can't turn it off once you've assigned your settler. It only takes a few seconds, but it would be nice if I could actually switch it off once I had done the assigning. This mod is quite simple really. It really is amazingly useful, and it feels very seamless. There's no batch files, no console commands. It all works automatically. The settlers just arrive with a name, and when you assign them to things, they get a title. It just feels perfectly natural. I'm hoping this mod continues to develop. I would like to see some new features. I'm fascinated to see what he can provide in the toolbox. And just if you're into settlement building, this I think is going to be one of those mods that just goes instantly onto your just have to have list. And that is all we have time for this week. I'm going to end with the usual collection of screenshots. A big thank you to everybody who has contributed so far. There are well over 1,000 now, where it's amazing how many screenshots have been posted. If you would like to post a screenshot for me to include at the end of one of my videos, I will leave a link down below to a video showing you exactly how you can do that. I will of course be back next week with more great mods, and I hope you can join me for that. I look forward to seeing you there, and until then, remember as always, have fun. If you're curious as to whether I've covered a mod in one of my videos, feel free to go along to my website gophersvids.com and check the search functionality out. Just type the name of the mod you're interested in, open up the settings and filter by mods only. Click for search and you will see whether or not I've covered that mod. Click on the mod and it will also show you any of the videos this mod appears in.